Grand Rising, all of you. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. My name is Steele Greye, and I'm always happy to be here. You know it when I say it. I have a great guest with me today, and I know you're going to love her. She's a wonderful human being, and she's got a lot of great stuff to say. And as you know, before we get started, I always like to start us off with like a little quote or a joke or something just to kind of, marinate in place for a moment. Today's joke is kind of interesting one. I found this a couple days ago. It has to do with a door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesperson. So a door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesperson is going door to door to door to door. And all of a sudden, right at the end of his day, he stops at a house, the door opens, and it's a yogi. And the yogi looks at him and says, "What are you selling?" And he says, "Vacuum cleaners." And the yogi looks at it, takes it in his hand, looks it up and down and says, "No thanks, too many attachments." Roll that tape. Yeah, buddy. I did it. Wow, that was my favorite time there just then. Well, welcome everybody to the Daily Huddle. I am Steele Greye. As I said before, thank you all for being here. Spectacular people. Those that I cannot see, welcome if it's your first time here. Such a pleasure to have you here. We have fun, we enlighten each other, and we leave with something extra on our minds that we didn't have before. That's how I feel about it anyway. But before we get started, let me check the temperature in the room with our wonderful frequent flyers, as I like to call them. Stan the Man.
Yes,
How
sir.
are you today, and who will you hug?
Man, I am just tuned in. I'm tuned in. And I'm gonna hug my wife today.
Yes.
And, yeah, extra special hug. She needs a special hug today.
Hey, I don't even know her, and I agree with you. Dude, I like it. Thanks for being here. Harumi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Excellent. Where are you, and what are you thankful for today?
I'm in the paradise.
She said I'm in the place.
I'm in Columbus, Indiana. Today, maybe I should hug my husband too, my honey Bob. Thank you.
I like that. I like how you cross-pollinated the questions. I like that about you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you at all. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Love the happiness. So, you know about the kind of guests I bring on the show. They're always high vibrational people, always people that are smiling, full of information, engaging. And today is no different. I want to tell you about our guest today. She is, I just think she's a great human being, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Maya Mesola practices in the New York and New Jersey area. She lives in Montclair, New Jersey with her wife, Rovie, and dog, Miss Muddy Penny. She's traveled and lived all over the world, including Ghana, Zambia, China, Philippines, Costa Rica, Mexico, Peru, Italy, England, Ireland, and the Netherlands. It's a lot of frequent flyer miles. Man. She's a medical anthropologist, energy healer, Reiki practitioner who provides breathwork training for actors, singers, and public speakers. I mean, is there any more time in the day? I'm not really sure. Wow. Our question today, we're going to get into it. How can Reiki and breathing techniques help to promote healing? Please welcome to the Daily Huddle, Miss Maya Mesola.
Oh, thank you so much, Chase, for that wonderful introduction.
Yes.
Inviting me here today.
Yes. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to see you.
You.
So
thank you, everyone.
To open up, with that question, right? Just give me a little bit of a small dive into that question and what the question means to you and how it connects to you in your everyday flow.
So for people who don't know what Reiki is a Japanese healing modality or therapy that restores and redirects energy and flow of energy in and around the body using very specific, soft, gentle hand placements on and around the body. It can be complemented with acupressure, acupuncture, sometimes massage therapy. And Reiki means the universal life energy, and Ki means breath, life force, vital radiant energy that flows throughout the body, and any living thing is said to have this force or energy. And the way I like to think about how Reiki can heal the body is that one of the Reiki principles is that we already have all full knowledge inside of our bodies, how to heal ourselves, and how to survive. And the fact that we're here today is evident that we know how to survive because we're here. So the way I like to think of it is that a tree doesn't need to learn how to be a tree, if that makes any sense. And in the same way, your heart doesn't need to learn how to be a heart to do heart things and to be a heart. So one of the things that I like to think about with Reiki, and also thinking about the autonomic nervous system or the subconscious, is that we already have full knowledge inside of our body to do the things that our body needs on a daily basis, to breathe, to nourish ourselves, to know what we need in any given moment. And so Reiki really helps to tap into that subconscious and that intuition, so we know what it is that we need to eat and when we need to nourish ourselves, what things no longer serve us, so we can sort of let those things go in a healthy way. It also helps us to really accept and acknowledge our emotions in a healthy way, and to let them express themselves in a healthy way, so we don't sort of repress our emotions, and then those emotions can tend to like eat up inside of us and then cause health problems down the line. So one thing that I like to practice in both my breathwork training and my Reiki practice is to allow those emotions to come out without apologies. If you need to cry, you have to cry. If you need to scream, you have to scream. And that's your body's way of like cleaning out its sock drawer and letting in new positive energy. So that's my snapshot of how I feel Reiki helps to heal.
Excellent. You know, a question that I have about that, and I was thinking about this before I spoke to you today. When you talk about healing, would you tell people that Reiki is an area that you heal, or that is focused on healing emotionally only? Like, can it be something happening in your body? Let's say an athlete who's a runner, been running for a long time and have like pain in the right side of their body. Would you recommend Reiki for that sort of healing, or are we only talking about an internal kind of healing for emotions and so on and so forth?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So Reiki is holistic. So what that means, it restores and helps to heal the physical body, spiritual body, the psychological body, the emotional body, and the social body. So it can also even help with healing social relationships. And one thing that breathwork training in combination with Reiki does is it helps to oxygenate, provide oxygen throughout your body, and helps with the lymphatic system. So it definitely helps with healing before and after surgery. So it's not just to calm the mind. It also does help directly with healing, but it's not a replacement for biomedicine. It's to be used in conjunction with any and all current spiritual and religious belief systems, also, and current medical treatments that you're undergoing.
I maybe in my life I've had 2 sessions of Reiki. I asked this question to another Reiki practitioner. I want to ask you as well. I don't mean to put you on the spot when I ask you this. It could be an easy answer for you. I'm not sure. It's just something that fascinates me. When you're having this Reiki, both Reiki times I was not with the person. It was over the internet. And I have to say, I did feel it. It was just amazing to me. So I'm trying to connect this thing where I'm trying to give like a good example, like being on the phone, right? No wires, nothing connected. We're talking to somebody in Tahiti. Reiki, you pull up your screen, you can lay there, someone can do Reiki on you. What is the internal, or how do you explain how the Reiki works between two human beings when they're not in the room, not touching, nothing? What's your short answer on that? Like, I know that's kind of a complicated question, or can be, but what do you feel about that?
So Reiki energy is universal. So there's no limit to how the Reiki energy can find you. So once someone has been trained in Reiki level 2 practitioner, and there's 3 levels, they have the knowledge, skills, and to do long distance Reiki. And it's no different than, I think, some people who come from certain religious faiths to praying for somebody in some ways. So you can be halfway around the world and pray for somebody and have that prayer be effective for them if you're connected to your prayer process and rituals. So Reiki is also a ritualistic practice. It can be spiritual, although it's not a religion. It's not an organized religion or even organized business in any way. How I like to sort of think of it is very similar to how radio waves would work. It's energy that passes through the universe. You can be in another country, in another room, and have that energy flow.
Right. And I kind of figured you were going to say what you said. I'm just like kind of getting that out there for people, because Reiki, if I'm correct in saying this, there's really no touch, right? Even if you're in person, or is there a little bit of contact from time to time?
It depends on the client. So if a client prefers not to be touched, you don't have to touch them. You don't even have to put your hands on above them. And sometimes I and other people have said, oh, you can touch someone here, and then move to another area of the body and you still feel the person's hand on you, even though you're not actually physically touching the person at that time. So it can be above the body. Like I can feel my energy, sort of scan my energy above the body, but you can also use touch, which is also very healing and gets to another aspect of the autonomic nervous system. You'll get more information in terms of temperature, actual temperature of somebody's body, if they have a hot spot.
Right. Can you speak about your specific, actually I have 2 questions. The first one is, what's the crossroads of a Reiki practice versus a meditative practice? Can they be intertwined? Like if someone wakes up in the morning and says, like, I meditate, right? I meditate just about every day. Is that an added thing to Reiki? Because obviously everyone's not getting Reiki every day, but maybe some people are. Would you suggest, like someone listening right now who's like, I don't know anything about this Reiki thing, why should I do it? How do we connect that to somebody who's just meditating right now and getting into their center?
So first of all, meditation isn't a just thing. It's an amazing, powerful experience that helps to ground, helps to relax and center and focus. And Reiki definitely is a form of meditation, and in its purest original form, because the founder of the Reiki that we practice in the US, Dr. Mikao Usui, was a Buddhist monk. So his training as a Buddhist monk and meditation is what informs Reiki practice. So it's both the practitioner and the client that the goal is for the client really to meditate and reach a state of meditation during the session. And it's complementary to it as well. So if anyone has a meditative practice, I think that then practicing Reiki would be a fluid transition for them, because they would be already familiar with how to meditate and how to get to that state of sort of pure relaxation, to get in, to tap into the subconscious during the.
Okay. I asked that question obviously because, you know, there's so much information about Reiki and so much information about meditation, and it's in a group like this, especially what's going on right now in the world. Gosh, if everybody could just take a spoonful of this information and start to use it, I believe it would change the vibration. People like yourself, where another fascinating part about it is when Reiki practitioners talk about doing it on themselves. I'm like, wow, what a great power. You can give it away to somebody, you can use it on yourself. And that is, you know, you just ask the question, like, man, why isn't everybody doing this then? If it's creating such calmness and such healing in this emotionally heightened time, this Reiki could really be something of value to people who are going through tumultuous, you know, emotional times. And I'm curious about you. When you started this, was it because of a need to be more balanced and relaxed, or was it something that came to you from somebody else? You tried it and you were like, oh, this is cool. How did you arrive here?
So I felt a certain magnetic energy on my hands when I was a child. And so it's interesting that you mentioned track at the beginning, because I was in track as a child and I had muscle pain, and I also suffered from headaches. And I just realized that touching the body and touching my body and going like this to like produce energy on my hands, which is a healing energy technique that's beyond Reiki. It's part of Reiki, but also energy healers use it. Really helped to solve my headaches. And I had a friend who was having a headache, and I was like, you know, this thing works for me. Should I try it on you? And she felt it. She received my energy also. So that's the first time I sort of had an experience with myself with energy healing. Reiki, I was introduced to it by Laura Pensiero, who is my Reiki master, in an acting studio. So I'm also an actor. And so my acting studio offered a course in Reiki. And so she's the one who also trained me. And it was very useful because actors, the same way accountants work with numbers, actors work with emotions, and Reiki definitely helps with emotional release, which is very useful for actors, public speakers, singers. When you have to get to a certain place in a song, you may be feeling something completely opposite to that. So using Reiki to actually tap into your subconscious, to tap into your emotions, to get to a certain emotional place during a song, or during or you're trying to make a persuasive argument towards somebody, send also love and light and openness into the room using Reiki energy techniques. So that people will also be more receptive to what it is that you're telling them, or be more open-minded to what you're saying. Right. About the war, you did mention it, or just like peace in general. Dr. Usui Mikao was a psychologist. He was a Buddhist monk, but he was also, as a child, trained and was part of a samurai warrior clan in Japan. But he was a pacifist. So Reiki also uses some of the energy training that is used in martial arts, in a lot of Asian martial arts techniques, but to use it in a positive way for healing. So it's definitely a way to transform energy.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Any energy that, including energy of fighting or conflict in your home, in your relationships, at work, on the subway, wherever you happen to be, just in the world, and to like take in that energy and like cycle it and like put it back positive out into the world. And it makes a huge difference in your social relationships. And for me personally, again, it's complementary with other healing modalities. So just to give a personal story, there's a certain I have neurological issues. So, and there's a certain medication that I was taking that I was not taking every day that I was supposed to take it. And it was during a Reiki session that I tapped into my subconscious and realized I have trouble swallowing large pills. That was my block. And so I used that information during my Reiki meditation session to then tell my neurologist, is it possible for me to get this medication in liquid form?
Huh.
Yes. And then I started taking it every day. So it definitely provides you with the knowledge that you already have in your body, but you may not be like conscious of that knowledge. It like allows you to like just be at peace with yourself, tap into your subconscious, tap into your intuition and be like, I have to take this medicine.
Right.
I need it in liquid form. Like simple things like that. It can really just like change your life.
Some clarity. You are the second person that we've had on dealing with the field of Reiki, and it fascinates me that you've both given different information that kind of loops together, right? Some overlapping.
Oh.
I only have one more question for you. I'd like to open it up for some questions. Is there anything, and you can say no, is there anything that you could give us to take away, like a small exercise that someone can do from a healing perspective privately within themselves if they're getting overloaded emotionally or feeling some sort of something happening? Does that exist, or is it more like solely inside the practice with the practitioner?
So I think breathwork training here is really an easier thing to go into if you don't have prior knowledge of Reiki.
Right.
And so that would just be to like calm your body and to really imagine a beautiful light coming in through your breath. You can imagine it coming through the top of your head or actually through the air that you're breathing. And so letting in that love and light and support come in through your ancestors, through your spirit guides, whoever you normally would pray to, and let that energy come in through your breath to relax every cell of your body. Like really focus on relaxing the muscles of your face and scanning your entire body and listening to your body. You might have a pain somewhere or a discomfort somewhere that you didn't notice before. That's information. Work it out and use your breath to imagine that breath actually going through your entire torso, into your hips, down through your legs, into the ground. So you can imagine any negative energy or trauma that you might be holding into your body actually leaving your feet into the ground to be recycled, and then positive energy coming in through your head with every breath. And so really taking notice of your breath, and then also starting to control your breath, to slow it down if you're breathing too fast. That might be a sign that you're having anxiety. Calming your breath, taking slower, deeper breaths.
Right.
Putting your hands onto your body. It can make a big difference.
Oh yes, this is key. I agree with you 1000%, and I understand you fully. I agree with everything you said. I'd like to open it up to some questions. If anyone has any questions at this particular time, might have one or two things you want to discuss or to bring into the fold. If you do, please come on in. Going once. Going twice.
I see some comments in the chat, no questions. I
do see some comments in the chat. One of our is about to complete her certification in Reiki, so she was talking about a few things, and she'll want to come back and talk about that later, which is great. Okay, if there are no questions, that's totally fine. I usually ask my guests if there's something that you can recommend or somewhere where they can go to get either a book or watch something. Like, could you recommend something that touches on Reiki or may enlighten someone to move closer to Reiki? You can name a book, you can name a person who speaks on YouTube or anything like that. Something that you personally said, wow, this was really great for me to watch, or this was really great for me to read.
Oh, great question. I don't have my books in front of me at the moment.
Okay. Love it.
But there is a Reiki association. I had a links page here, but I don't have it. I can Google it very quickly, but if you Google Reiki association, you'll find it also. Maybe the
Reiki
other Reiki healer
Association.
has it too.
Is that a
Mm.
particular book?
It's a website,
Oh, okay. Reiki Association.
reiki.org. And then there's also, I'll throw it into the chat. There's also Reiki.org, and that's the International Association of Reiki Professionals. That's the main. Let me try to throw that into chat.
I know you reside in Montclair, New Jersey. Do you leave your home to give Reiki to people? Do you do it online? I know people can reach you through your email here, but where do you primarily practice, or what's your motion with that?
I do both individual and group workshops. And that is both in person and on an individual basis online, as well as in person. I do both.
Okay, great. That's amazing. I'm going to ask one more time if there's any questions from anyone. How are you, Mr. Giovanni?
I'd say I have to jump out in just a second, but what I want to say is it's a really new world for me. And so I'm sort of discovering in this conversation a new world to explore. I've only heard of Reiki from the distance. I have not experienced it. I have not eaten that chocolate. So I'm just discovering it, but I'm really curious truly curious on why has it gotten, how is it making such a difference, rather say, to so many people's lives, and so I want to definitely explore it, and thank you, Maya, for being the person who opens up a door for me to explore something new. That's what I wanted to say.
Powerful.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, by the way, Maya, I love your name.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm a Maya fan already.
Excellent.
That makes me so happy.
Oh, I see Laura has a question. Let's get one question in before we wrap up.
Yes, thank you, Chase. Thank you, Maya. I confirm everything you said as a level 2 Reiki student, but I've experienced so much healing from Reiki and spiritual awakening from my level 2 attunement. And I encourage everybody to check this out because it's, as she said, it's all about energy transference. And there's a time in my life when I was struggling with stress, insomnia, and a distant Reiki healing was what helped me through that time in my life. So I implore us all to look into it. Thank you. I'm complete.
Excellent. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. I know that the Reiki word is out and is floating out into the universe. And I like having these conversations with people like yourself, Maya, because I think that people that hear about it are like, oh, that's that frou-frou. That's some weird stuff they just made up again. Like I've heard people say that, like Reiki, yeah, they don't touch you, but they're helping you. Okay, good. Like I don't like challenge it, but I hear people saying that. So I'm glad that you can bring some validity to it, right? I'm glad that you're here for that. And obviously this is going to go online and people are going to see it and go, oh, okay, maybe I will give that a shot. I like that. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. You know, the love I have for you, and I just respect you so much. So thank you for being here on this wonderful huddle that we do every day. We will have you back for sure. And before we leave, we want to go through our 8 tenets that we always do before we leave, just to get everybody in a nice focus area. Of course, love more, love as much as you can, love those who may not love you. You might change the vibration, who knows, right? Live out loud, louder than you are living right now, right? Move the body more, please move more. When we are in one place, we do not get the benefits of our circulatory system as much as when we're moving. Really give it a shot to practice eating more plant-based, right? If you can make it 70-30, your body will thank you. I mean, it's just an amazing experience. I know about it very intimately. Sleep more, somewhere in that 5 to 8 hours, that sweet spot where our body can completely relax and come down to an area of just balance, so that we can make better decisions and connect with people in a more fluid way. And of course, we gotta stress less, right? Stress less, my good people. Figure out a way to take the stress down to a minimum so we can be our bigger selves. And lastly but not least, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Thank you so much for being here. This has been the Daily Huddle. My name is Chase Steele Greye, and I appreciate you so much. Have a spectacular day, my good people. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chase. Thank you, Maya. Thank you, family.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Chase.
Thank you, Maya. One love, guys. One
Thank you,
love.
Maya. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.